How y'all doing, everybody? Welcome to the Bayou Ballers podcast. Myself, I am Tay Visuals. My partner over there, Trey,
What's up?
and
What's
we
up?
got some news for y'all today, man. Some NBA and NFL. Do we have NFL? Oh, NFL
Yeah, we got
next
some
segment.
minutes here. Yeah.
Next segment. So, but we're gonna send y'all off on a good note on this weekend and have some content from us. Like we said, we trying to be consistent, y'all, and we're gonna keep giving y'all the content. So y'all keep watching, liking, and subscribing. We bringing in what? How was your day, brother? The day before we get started.
Man, it's Friday, man, at a half day. So got the extended weekend all to a good start, bro. Uh
Do you work Monday,
I don't.
Memorial
I
Day?
don't. No.
Oh, all right, you got
No.
a real extended weekend then. Okay, I'm jealous. All
Yeah.
right,
What
but
about you?
I'm good, but I got off early day too. And I'm gonna enjoy my weekend. Go out with the family this weekend. Probably go to Cool Zoo in New Orleans, get the baby in there,
Okay.
let her experience that for the first time. But let's get to this business, man, which is the Celtics are up 2-0, and it's looking like the easiest cakewalk to the finals, like we believe it will be. Tyrese Halliburton has left with a leg injury, reportedly a hamstring. He had a hamstring earlier this season.
Mhm.
What's your thoughts on the game, and what's your thoughts on Tyrese being leaving the game with an injury?
Yeah, I mean, the game is the game. He's always gonna have one of those Jalen Brown big matchups or big
Yeah,
games, and he performed. And it's like every playoff, if JT not playing as well and JB goes off, now it's all the talk about whose team is it, man. It's still Jason Tatum team, but sometimes it's good, man. Sometimes it's good for Shaq to take a back seat and let Kobe cook. It's all right. It can
exactly.
happen. But man, Tyrese injury, that's big, especially because it's the same injury he missed a lot of time this season with. Like when he
He
got
rushed
hurt, they
back
were
from
like the
too.
top three team. And one of the reasons why they're the sixth seed now is because he got hurt.
Mhm.
And so hoping that it's something that he can play through and that he can play well through. Because without him, they definitely don't have a chance. I know we was talking about, Boston in 6 and 7 and stuff like that. But if Halliburton not playing, bro, just go get the brooms out
Man,
because there's no way. Look, I love Pascal Siakam, but
had a
I,
great game.
they don't have enough. They
They
just don't
don't.
have enough to fight with what Boston's got, and it sucks. I know you mentioned them
Right.
having the easiest cakewalk. That's what you get for being the number one seed. That's kind of like the perks of being the top team in the league.
All
You
right. They're on
get
the right side of the bracket. It's like either side they would have been on. It's kind of would have been like easy because the Knicks were hurt. Philly, Miami, they faced Miami, but Philly was hurt. The Knicks was hurt. All the contenders we thought who would be there is not there,
hurt.
except for Boston. Granted to them, they stayed healthy. They beat the team they're supposed to beat. That's all they can do. They can't control if other teams get injured. So I can say that, but they're doing their job. They're doing what they're
Mhm.
supposed to do. Hopefully, they face a healthy whoever comes out the West, Minnesota, the Mavs. They face a healthy team on the West.
Mhm.
But my like I said, I ain't want to waste too much on this because at the beginning of the series, we all 98% of the world have Boston,
Yeah.
except for the Indiana fan base, which is blind blind love and just bias. We go through it sometimes. We
Mhm.
with your teams, you want to believe we can do it, be the underdogs, but with Halliburton going down, there's no reason to even rush him back if it's a serious hamstring. Hamstrings are tricky. You
Mhm.
rarely see somebody get a hamstring in a game and play the next game. And the
Yeah.
games are every other day now. So he might be done for the series. And I think maybe if they come out with a 60% shooting from three, they can beat Boston on a hot shooting night Boston has. But like I said, I thought they lost their game, the game they were supposed to win in the first game.
Mhm.
I think that killed them right there. So I don't know. It's not too much to talk about on the East Side. It's been pretty, at least the series with Boston, it's been pretty obvious who will win the series. You could try to get ratings and try to make it interesting, but
Yeah.
we know Boston is moving on. So we're going to move on just with Boston. Before we get to the west side of the bracket, we have another coaching opening.
Yeah.
Joining the Lakers. Who else is open? Charlotte, I believe. Charlotte doesn't have a coach.
Yeah. I think Charlotte's still looking for one. I don't
Yeah,
know if they
Washington hired their
finalized it.
coach. So Charlotte and the Lakers, and now the Cavaliers. Three teams who are in totally different stages in their franchise. Charlotte, total rebuild, been rebuilding for the longest. Jordan just sold most of his shares in the team. He gave up ownership, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Even Cavaliers got they have a problem. Mitchell or Garland will be gone. Reports from Rich Paul and Clutch Sports say if Donovan Mitchell gets an extension, they're going to be looking to move Garland. So, in the Lakers, LeBron, he's in his final years, twilight years. They try to get a ring, trying to get in the best position. So, what do you think JB Bickerstaff falls? Do you think he gets another head coaching job quickly, or he goes to assistant, takes a year off, comes back next year with the Cavs? What do you think the Cavs?
I think he should get one quickly, and just want to mention the Lakers for a little bit. I know they're saying JJ Redick's the front runner, but I would scrap that and tell JB, you got a spot here, my brother.
Okay.
I mean, it's an NBA coach got to be the worst job in professional sports, man. Like,
you get blamed for everything, huh?
You can be good. You can be really good. You can take a team with injury issues, get them to the second round. A team that doesn't really have like that top dog in the league, and you still, managing to compete, and it's still not good enough. And it was a surprise to me. Like, even the initial report where they were saying that they were thinking about firing, I was like, why? Why would you even consider that?
Like, Mitchell was out the last couple of games.
Right.
That, I believe the second round was their ceiling. They ran into Boston. He wasn't going to beat Boston.
Right.
Now, if he was on the other,
and then they lost Donovan Mitchell for the rest of that series, right? So it wasn't, once you lost him, it was over. And so for me, it's kind of very puzzling because I just don't get the move, to be quite honest with you. I don't know where the Cavaliers go from here. I don't think you have like when you make a coaching change, I think you're saying we have the roster that can do more, and this coach can't get it out of them. But I just don't think you have the roster that can do more. And he did an incredible job at what you've given him without being able to add some more pieces to the table. And he should get a job quickly. You know how it is for the melanated coach, where they probably should get hired quickly, but unless your name is Doc Rivers, it ain't happening. Just take a year off. But
they, like we said, they don't have too many openings.
They don't.
Charlotte, I don't know if they're going to be looking for JB. They probably go to route Washington went. Young, probably first time head coach. They get in there with their young players and build something with them, kind of like OKC did with Mark Daigneault. So JJ Redick looks like he's closing in on the Lakers though. So.
Yeah, and I don't think he'd want a rebuilding job. So that's probably why he would be in a situation where he's waiting, because I think sometimes you definitely want to get in a position where you are now on a rebuilding team where everybody knows you're not going to be winning anytime soon, and you get them to respectability, and then they do the same thing they did to him in Cleveland, where they say, well, you're not good enough to get us there. Thanks, but no thanks. And we're going to part ways. So,
do you believe? Well, reports have Kenny Atkinson and James Borrego are front runners. Two initial guys that were mentioned. Reports that they're going to be looking to swing to. Who would you lean towards out of those guys? Kenny Atkinson, formerly coached the Brooklyn Nets. James Borrego coached the Charlotte Hornets, ironically, and he's an assistant for the Pelicans right now. Who would you lean towards out of those two? Cleveland.
Me personally, if I was Cleveland, I'd lean towards Kenny Atkinson. I think because he has kind of that experience of getting to the playoffs, and he can do either or. I think he showed in Brooklyn that, hey, I can take a young team, build them up, turn it around. He has history with two current Cleveland Cavaliers that used to be Brooklyn Nets, and Kyrie LeVert and Jared Allen. So I think bringing him on board with them would be really good. And who knows? I don't know if it's going to be Darius Garland staying or Donovan Mitchell staying, but he's shown the ability to get really great play out of the guard position. I mean, D'Angelo Russell and Spencer Dinwiddie had a resurgence in their respective careers playing under him in Brooklyn.
Not both on the Lakers, crazy. Huh? Both of them right back on the Lakers together. That's great.
But he's shown really that he can do really well with the guard position, and just kind of getting a young team kind of ready and up to play. beyond their means. But to be quite honest with you, both him and Coach Borrego, they are good coaches. But when I look at what you just let go, I can't
Okay,
even
you think
certainly
JB is a
say
better coach than both of
I
them?
do. I
Maybe
do.
maybe they just need a new voice. And I'll ask you
Mhm.
this: as a coach, well, as players, well, I should say as a coach who's interviewing for the job, how
Mhm.
important is it to know is Mitchell or Garland going to be staying? Which one am I going to have?
I think if I'm either or, I can
Mhm.
work with. What I do know is I can't lose both of them.
Right?
Well, I can't lose Donovan Mitchell for nothing. I mean, definitely, I need to understand if he's not signing that extension, are we moving off on him because we don't want a 1 year rental? And if he stays and signs the extension, reports are saying right that Darius Garland is pretty much as good as gone. So now,
Mhm.
now I want to know, okay, what's the return? What are some of the things we're thinking about? But I could go with either or,
Okay.
as long as I'm not losing both. Like I need assurances that one of the two will be on this
Right.
team, and I can work with that.
Okay. This how I see it with the two guards. I feel since Garland was drafted by the Cavs,
Mm-hmm.
the Cavs traded for Donovan Mitchell, and it's kind of like he's first priority now.
Yeah,
And Cleveland got Garland with the number 4 pick, I believe.
correct.
Yes, number 4 pick, and it seems like I don't want to say jealousy because I don't know the guys. They probably good friends and stuff like that, but it's just I was the top pick for this team. Y'all traded for him. He was with Utah. Now he's first
Mm-hmm.
priority over me. Everything's running through him on the office. My game is kind of like I don't want to say suffering, but it's not at the level it should be for Darius Garland.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody looks at him like he can be a top scorer at the point guard position. Not too great defensively because of his size, but he can
Mm-hmm.
be. We look at him as a potentially 20 point per game scorer as a floor because he could shoot, he could get to the lane, 3 level scorer. And I think Mitchell taking a lot of that attention and the Cavs making him that priority probably like I can't really fit next to him like that. And
Yeah,
I think these NBA teams need to get away from these 2 small guards, like in the
yeah.
backcourt. It's not working. We see it with Trey and DeJounte. We see it with Mitchell and Garland. Not to say they're not working, but because they got to the second round, but still, it's capped. You ain't gonna get too far with that unless you have
Yeah.
just I don't know. We haven't seen that yet. I don't know if you can bring somebody up who had 2 small guards and got to a place that they wanted to be at.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll leave it off with that. One of them will be gone though, and hopefully, for Brian's sake, it be Mitchell. Now, moving on from the Cavs, man, we're gonna get to the real series in the conference finals. The Mavs versus Timberwolves, game 2 tonight. What you expecting to see? Will the Timberwolves bounce back and get and tie the series up 1-1?
Yeah, man. I think you're about to get one of those ant specialties, and I think part of it with him is kind of his youth and his first experience in the playoffs,
Right.
where it's not, I guess, every night he's bringing it, despite being tired, despite all the things that he's being asked to do offensively and defensively. He's going to learn as his career goes on that you got to bring it every night because it's win
Right.
or go home. Every game matters. You can't take nights off. And so I think he's going to come with a chip on his shoulder, especially since he's been kind of I don't want to say laughing stock. Maybe that's a little bit too harsh, but people just kind of been talking about how he had to eat his words about, saying he's going to guard Kyrie and Kyrie
Bro, I
coming out.
told you, bro, it's a
Yeah.
different monster. He better not say that no more.
But
Don't
the
say
thing
that no
is,
more.
whether he say it or not, he can't run from the matchup
I'm gonna
because
say
he's
that.
the
I
only
love that
one.
though. I love that he
Yeah.
said it, but you can't say that to a guy like
Yeah.
Kyrie, like
But
he
he's
did
the
in the
only
post
one
game
that can
interview.
guard him, right? He's the only
Yeah,
one because
McDaniels, you could give McDaniels a
yeah, but
shot.
then
Like
that means
McDaniels took him when Ant was out. He when Luka was out and Ant was out on McDaniels matched up with Kyrie, but when
yeah.
both of them are in the game, McDaniels gonna take Luka,
Yeah, and
and
that's
Nard's
kind
gonna
of what
take
I'm meaning. Like when they're both in the game, like you're not gonna put Ant on Luca because
right.
like in them stretches where where he ended up on Luca, Luka just said,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even gonna shoot the three. Like I'm just taking you
Right.
down. Like he was a little too small, and that's nothing to be
Mm-hmm.
ashamed about. Sometimes you just don't have the matchup, right? But
Right.
I expect him to be better on both ends of the floor. I would I think Michael Conley and Cat, they have to be better, especially Mike Conley.
Okay.
Like, because right now they're giving you the series off defensively. You don't have to guard anybody. So you're gonna have
You
to pick
got
up
Derrick Jones.
somewhere, right? You have to pick up somewhere on the offensive end where you're not having to step up on the defensive end. And him being a vet, I expect Mike Conley special. So I expect the two guards to play really well. And if Cat can stay out of foul trouble, I mean, no one in these playoffs has anything to stop Cat. The only person that can stop Karl Anthony Towns is Karl Anthony Towns. And to be quite honest, that's just been his career. But what he's able to do shooting the ball, what he can do inside the paint, just kind of his size, it's only him. It's him versus him. And so it's all about how he's bringing it. But it's, Minnesota crowd, I don't see them going down 2-0 on their own home court. I expect them to get a game and go back
we
to
ain't
Dallas.
See that about the Nuggets either. You ain't see that about the Nuggets going down 2-0, right? Oh, they don't flow.
We didn't see it, but
it's crazy thing.
Yeah, but we'll see, man. What you thinking though?
I'm thinking, I don't want to overreact to game one, but like I said before, I thought Luka and Kyrie was kind of due, and it was kind of Kyrie first half, and then Luka finishing it off in the fourth. Kyrie kind of fizzled out in that fourth quarter, barely gave much of anything, but he still gave good defense, but the shot just wasn't falling. But Luka held his bargain. And what I saw from Ant in Minnesota, it was a good game, and there were a couple shots from winning the game. A couple shots rimmed in and out for those guys in the fourth quarter. But I feel it's just levels to superstardom. And Luka, with his shot making, it was just his shot making in the fourth quarter because there were tough shots off the pick and roll. They were in the drop coverage. There was a big deal last night when everybody was talking about Minnesota is going to run that when Gobert's in. But Luka just made some tough shots, man. The threes, the mid-range over McDaniels. You couldn't really do too much. It's just shot making. But what they can do, I believe, is you can't have Ant running around on Kyrie all game. You have to give him a break, especially if you're going to ask a lot of him to create on the offensive end. I get it. Like I said, I love when superstars match up on each other, but you have to give Nas some more minutes, but he can take that Kyrie matchup and let Ant sort of rest on defense. Let him take Derrick Jones Jr. Let him play a little off-ball defense, a little safety, and things like that to give him a break. Because as many as people say he's 22, he looked tired. He was tired, even though I have a lot of gripes with Reggie Miller and his play-by-play, his commentary. But he was kind of correct. He was gassed. Ant was settling for jumpers a lot, and that showed when they was coming up short. But I think it's going to be a good series, but I might be picking the Mavs again. I think Luka and Kyrie are going to try to seize the moment that they got the first one. I don't think they're going to settle and be like, oh, we stole the first one. We out of here now. I think they're going to come out and be real decisive and aggressive in the first quarter. And they're going to have the Timberwolves on the rope, and I want to see how they respond to that.
Okay.
All right. Now, off the conference final, this is like an NBA heavy show right here, but we got the all NBA teams, and they came out. And first team was, let me read it where I'm going. I think nobody had a problem with first team. Jokic, Shea, Luka, Giannis, Tatum. It's kind of crazy. It's like Giannis is a forgotten guy now. Like all this is going on. We haven't seen Giannis play like important playoff basketball since like the championship. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like the last 2 years, he's been first round out, but he's been hurt. Granted that, but he's still been bounced in the first round. Second team: Jalen Brunson, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, and Kawhi Leonard. Third team: Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Tyrese Halliburton, mind you, and Luka and Tyrese are eligible for that 41 extra million Supermax. And the last two guys are LeBron and Sabonis. Any snubs that you see on here who played don't forget, 65 games. Because Mitchell didn't play, Kyrie, Embiid, obviously, and a couple other guys didn't make the 65-game mark. So you have any problem with anybody on that?
Well, one, I think Bron should have made second team over KD. I
All
just
right
think what he
now.
was able to do this season. Granted, the Suns had the better record, but I
Right.
just felt
I
like
like a game.
LeBron performed better
Mhm.
this year. Just, I mean, the points, the assists, the rebounds, everything
Mhm.
he still has to do for his team. I thought he probably should have got the second team nod, and maybe KD getting a kick to third. And then Sabonis, man. Like, I don't know how he keeps making these teams. That's not to say he's a bad player, but
Man, this the first guy I ever see you go at like that.
like I like if
He
we're
not
just
there for
gonna
you.
like if we're just going if we're talking about a second option that should have been on NBA All Team, like the third team, put
Mhm.
Jalen Brown there.
Oh, it's
Um,
positionless now too, right?
in this positionless, yeah.
Yeah,
So
it is
if you're
position.
going, so I don't understand how a guy like JB, who is the second best player on the best team in the league, and typically speaking, the best team usually gets about two guys on that
Mhm.
list more times than not. And so for him to not get on, and a guy like Sabonis, who's getting Defensive Player of the Year votes, I might add you,
Oh man. Oh
um,
God. This
it's
man
it's
got MVP
ridiculous.
votes. This is why this stuff be a joke sometimes. Like
Yeah,
this is legacy. This is legacy stuff. This is
it is
stuff people pull up when they look at players down the line and be like, "Oh,
right.
how many NBA team, all NBA, all defensive team?" And then you see people just giving away a vote because
Yeah.
they're from the same place the bonus is from.
Right. And we talking about legacy, but man, it's messing with people's money now
Right.
because now it's tied into their contract. So if you don't make an all
Exactly.
NBA team, well, now
At 41 million.
you're not getting that money that you want. And so that's kind of screwed up, man, in my opinion, that you just kind of putting guys in, like you said, because you have a bias because you're from the same place that they're from. Look, I don't know what's going on in some of those countries. Maybe they looking at him like you better vote for Sabonis or
Yes.
something bad
Has to
gonna
be.
happen to somebody that's still staying home in the motherland. I don't understand,
They
but
shouldn't have a vote.
but
But,
we gotta kind of right that wrong with some of the biases that's within the
mhm.
media, because they're starting to play with people's money. Like legacy, enough of us have watched the game, and I think you'll still
To
have
know.
people talking about the game that watch that can kind of, so we're not box score watching or award
Right.
watching, but now you're playing with people's livelihood and what they can do for their family and loved ones. And so we got to think of a different way to measure
System.
and vote,
Mhm.
because having that much power over NBA players and their income, I just can't get with it. So,
I I would say this. What would you suggest as a system? Because if you bring it to AI generated computer, it's gonna
mm-mm.
basically go on the analytics, and we're gonna get a bunch of just
Yeah,
guys with top PER
yeah,
ratios, and it's just gonna be a stat. So could it be a mixture of humans and computer generated
it
to
could
see
be.
if they win? But obviously, you're human. You're gonna have a bias. It's just
Yeah,
embedded in us. You could try it or not, unless you just have no ties to the NBA at all.
mm-hmm.
That's
Right.
it. My only gripe with it was, like you said, besides KD going out though, I would have swapped him for Kawhi, LeBron for Kawhi, his
Mm-hmm.
second team. LeBron has him. I think I don't know when these awards became winning awards. Like you mentioned, if the top team should have two guys, when did that become a thing? If you deserve to be on that, this is supposed to be an individual award.
Yeah,
Now, all stars, all that. If your team first, hey, give them two guys, give them three guys if they're top team. They got two guys. Devin Booker and Kevin Durant is on one of these teams.
mm-hmm.
LeBron and AD are the other two. I think that's the only two pair of teammates who are on it. And I think those guys deserve to be on there. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
I think Jalen Brown deserves to be on there, but not because they're the first seed. I think he
Mm-hmm.
deserves to be on there because he had a great season and he had a better season than Sabonis in my eyes. Defensively and offensively, he plays both sides. And that's why he should have been on there, not because they're the first seed. I get so sick and tired of hearing that because with the
Yeah.
MVP and everything like that, I
But you know
hate that. I
what?
don't know why.
Certain things but that's the thing. Certain things kind of have that criteria. And you kind of are asking, like, hey, what has happened? I think having a
Mhm.
clear-cut criteria, because right now all we have is you gotta play 65 games or more to be eligible.
Right.
But now, okay, what go deeper? Where I think we should be looking at where they're ranked in all the
Mhm.
categories, the points per game, rebounds per game,
Right.
win shares, all these types of things. I think that we should kind of take into account if
Mhm.
a player is all NBA. I agree with you. We should look more from an individual perspective, and maybe that's going to help us do that. And and kind of how important they are to
to the
their
team.
teams and how they're doing in the league. But just kind of saying, oh, well, if you play 65 games, and we'll figure it out. So it's a little
And
bit of guys who deserve it and a little bit of guys who have a reputation, so to
right.
speak, and they're getting on the list. Because, I mean, what makes Kawhi be somebody who's all NBA and a guy like Paul George isn't?
Mhm.
So what's kind of what are we measuring that on? So
Now,
I'm always interested in what they
right.
actually take
And
into account.
I would say this. I'm not a Sabonis head. I don't know if Trey is because he kind of
I'm not.
seemed
I love
like
Sabonis. Southpaw Nation.
he
Like,
said, I
I
don't know
love
how
it.
he keep making these teams. Like, who is he paying? But he was kind of triple double machine this year. He's important to Sacramento because it's passing outside the post. But here, just those Warriors, horrible. Draymond Green just ate him up, other than the kick, other than stepping on the man's chest. He dominated him that whole series when I looked at it. And this year, I don't think in the playing versus who did they play? They played the Warriors, and
I
they
believe so.
lost to the Pelicans 7 times in a row. You have to be better than that. Now, Darren Fox, I'm surprised he didn't contend for one of these all
See what
NBA
I
teams
mean?
as well.
You see what I mean? Like, you're not like
I think he had a better season than Sabonis.
he
I gotta look
did.
and see how many games he played though. I don't know if he played a lot of
I
games.
don't know if I think he just barely missed the 65, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, sure. But Jaylen Brown was an honorable mention from Trey. I agree with him on that. And I think they just try to get another center in because they put Jokic on first, they put AD on the second team, and they just wanted to put another center. They say it's positionless, but they still wanted to get another
Yeah.
center on that because obviously it would have been Embiid on first team
True.
as well, and somebody would have had to be kicked out.
Yeah.
All
Good
right.
point.
We're gonna get to your guy, only rookie who ever made all defensive team, Victor Wembanyama. Wembanyama. I'm gonna be struggling with that name for years to come. I'm just gonna call him Wemby, like everybody else. But what do you think of your guy, man, Rudy? You know, we our first couple episodes we have gave our opinion on Rudy and what we think of him defensively. Victor, Bam, Anthony Davis, and Herb Jones. Mind you, you don't have to put all big men, but it's
Yeah.
4 big men and only Herb Jones.
Yeah.
What do
Talking
you
about
think of the first
positionless,
team?
huh?
Yes, exactly. What you think of the first team defensive team? Well, the first NBA defensive team.
Man, I don't know if it was me and you talking about this on Twitter, but I feel like one, they had to put Rudy on there because they handed him the
Yeah.
Defensive Player of the Year. In my mind, I don't think Rudy belongs because I don't think he was a Defensive Player of the Year. I don't believe he's a first team All NBA defender. I would have liked to seen a guy like Alex Caruso make that. And so now we're from a guard standpoint, we got Caruso and Herb Jones. And then I felt like Wemby, Bam, and AD were the right choices. So, I mean, if I had to choose, like I would have just taken Gobert out and put Caruso in and what he's been able to do as a guard, kind of an undersized guard too. And he's
He's
the guy
amazing,
that
bro.
he's always going to play the other team's best player. It doesn't matter if it's a taller wing like KD or LeBron, or it's kind of your more smaller wings that are closer to his size, like a Donovan Mitchell or guys like that. He's always going to take that matchup, and he was asked to do a lot this year, and I think he performed well. I believe he made the second team.
Yeah, second team is Caruso, Drew Holiday, not to interrupt you. Caruso, Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaden McDaniels, and Jalen Suggs. So all guards.
All guards. And I felt like
McDaniels a win.
I felt like, look, you can put Rudy on the second team and put Caruso, but I guess they didn't want the same issue that they had with LeBron James and Marc Gasol, where
you can't do that.
Make first
They
team,
don't
right?
want that again.
So, and I get it, man, but you know, you asked the question. I truly just feel like this man is not the defensive player of the year, right?
Well, he's 4-time defensive player of the year.
4 times, and it was based on reputation. We just talked about it, like individually, statistically,
it's the easy vote.
He was not ranked as one of the guys, but he was on the league leading team defense, and so he kind of got that off that, you know.
And I saw a lot of people saying they brought up the winning again. Wemby can't win the award because his team sucks. Sorry about your Spurs,
Right.
but the team sucks.
It's
But
up.
when he's on the floor, they don't suck defensively, and that's crazy to me. You see the effect. You comment on it on Twitter a lot. You see the videos. We had a little gripe about the video, a little small discussion about how people turn around. They had a video going around with Wemby like 3-4 minutes with a bunch of teams having like fast break layups, and they're turning around as soon as they see Wemby. It's a great video, and I don't see that happen against Gobert.
No.
They're attacking him. They go at him, and mind you, everybody gets dunked on. Wemby got dunked on a couple times. Everybody gets some layups on them. They get challenged a lot. But as a rim protector, when people should be feared when they come in there.
Right.
They should think twice. And I don't think people think twice when they see Rudy down. And that's my gripe with Rudy. It's not right, Rudy. You're
My
going to
last
same place
argument
Victor
for
from.
the anti-Rudy agenda is he's the only one with a teammate on the all-defensive team. True. He's the only one with another teammate.
And don't sleep on Ant. He is a real defender.
Oh,
you saw that last series.
Yeah, but you got Jay McDaniels making the second team. Like that shows that they are a unit where we can put Cat on Jokic and let you roam. It is what it is, though. You know what?
And the only other teammates who made it, Derek Wright and Drew Holiday, 2 Celtics, 2 guards. They made it. So shout out to the Celtics. They're going to be in the finals, and we're going to see how their defense is then. All rookie teams, we can make this one a little quick with your guy again headlining this. We already know he's gonna win Rookie of the Year. Did that award come out already?
He won. Yeah, he won.
All right.
Yeah, he was unanimous. Yeah, he won.
All right, for sure. What you think? I want to ask you this. You're a Spurs fan. What you think about the Chet Victor beef? Because when they play each other, they go at each other, and they show emotion. What do you think about that?
I mean, they go at each other. The funny thing is, look, I'm a basketball purist, so I don't think that Chet's a rookie anyway. So for me, in terms of a draft rookie class or whatever, his op needs to be Paolo. But I guess Banchero has, in a way, surpassed him so much.
Paolo?
Yeah, Paolo.
Chet should be.
Chet. Yeah, so they should really be compared to one another. But Paolo being year 2, like, lead.
I think it's the size and how they build. That's the comparison. They built the same way.
But to answer your question, I love it, especially the way they go at each other, man. Like that's what the game is all about. Like none of that hiding, ducking each other. You know that they hear the noise. They can be respectful in the interviews and all that stuff, all they want to. But when they touch that paint, they going at each other every single possession. And what's been good is the refs have allowed them to go at each other every possession. I love it, bro. So now ruin it. So man, I love it, and I'm glad both of them getting their flowers, kind of being on a rookie team. I can't help but think where a Jordan Hawkins would be if Coach Willie just forgot that he existed.
If he played, right?
Yeah. So like when I was looking at the list, and like it was a really good list, man. Like Jaime Jaquez is on there, like pretty good guys, but. You know, when I see a guy like Hassan Wallace, who, he got pretty good minutes for the Thunder, but
and he made second. G.G. Jackson, too. Derek Lively, Keontae George. I think he's gonna be a nice player, up there in Utah. Amin Thompson. That's the twin on Houston. I don't Detroit is Asar, I believe. So to round out the first team, Brandon Miller came on strong in the second half.
Yes, he did.
Jaquez was solid throughout the whole year, and Brandon Pozinski for the Warriors was a good player. Actually took over the starting spot over Clay. After All-Star break, I believe, because Clay was struggling. But I think Clay got his starting job back.
Yeah, it was weird. He ended up getting it back,
Yeah, based on reputation. So reputation is a big thing in the NBA, y'all. That's what we get into, y'all.
The question
go ahead.
The question I have for you, though, kind of looking at the All-NBA rookie teams, out of that list, which one are you kind of thinking is probably going to surprise some folks in that year 2 league?
I kind of hinted at it with the Keontae George.
Okay.
I think he'll have a bigger role depending on what type of moves Utah makes. If they clear out the backcourt, I don't know what they're going to do with Colin Sexton, THT, Maybe they trade one of those guys and open up a spot for him, Keontae to earn more consistent minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to pick like the big guys. We know Wimby,
Yeah,
Chet,
we know
Brandon
Wimby, Chet.
Miller. That's that. Brandon Miller, he's looking pretty good. If he can get some good players around him and LaMelo can stay healthy. But I think Keontae George gonna be it. What about you?
Man, I really like Gigi.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
the way he
I didn't
kind of
pick him because the guys coming back. A lot of guys coming back from Memphis. Like,
yeah,
can he play with them? Can he know how to play? He had the ball in his hands a lot.
yeah, that's true. And I think he can. Like he
Mhm.
one of those kids, man, he gonna get it out the mud. Honestly, if
He
he
is.
had picked anywhere else to go to school, college instead of his native South Carolina, he probably ends up being a first round pick instead of falling to the second round. But shout out to them. He wanted to stay home. He did his thing for the Gamecocks while he was there. And he did his thing in the G League, eventually got called up when they had some injuries. And when I think about what he could bring to the table, especially
He definitely could.
offensively, running that pick and pop with Ja. I mean, I think he's a young man that he's going
Switchable.
to play himself both in practice and in the games where you got to have him somewhere in the rotation. And if you
You
have him
gonna
in the
have to have him.
rotation, he'll probably do enough to eventually get more and more minutes. So I'm really looking forward to seeing, if they trust him. Seems like a good kid. I mean, like the dude play basketball and then on the Sundays they free. He go back home and play drums in his parents' church. Like so, so
Youngest guy in the
he
NBA last year.
yeah, so he
Youngest
so
guy in
he
the
has
NBA.
all the makings, man, like on and off the court. So I'm looking forward to seeing if he gets a shot, and if he
Mhm.
does, I think he has the talent to
It,
really
it's
make a leap.
it's kind of weird to me because I always looked at Memphis as never having that small forward, and he
Mm-hmm.
might could be that small forward for them.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're gonna start Ja and Marcus Smart next to each other with Desmond Bain at the three.
at the
It's
three they
kind of
might.
undersized. Yeah, it's an undersized group. Even though Marcus Smart can play bigger guys
Mm-hmm.
and Jaren Jackson Jr. and they don't have they
They just
traded with
kind of
Steven Adams. So
Steven Adams
Brandon
won't be
Clark,
healthy, so
they
I
traded
don't
him
think they
away.
have Steven. They traded Steven
Yeah, they
Adams,
traded
so
to Houston. Yeah, he's at
so
Houston.
they
So Brandon Clark,
figure it out.
I don't know.
They
They got a good pick this year. They're gonna be able to. I would be surprised if they use that pick. I would like to see them trade that pick and probably shore up the front line or get another wing. I think they'll be able to do that with some assets they have. So
yeah.
Memphis is definitely everybody's sleeper team next year because they were so hurt. Now everybody's
Mm-hmm.
coming back. Hopefully they stay healthy. Western Conference is gonna be deep again. Now we got WNBA topic expansion team coming to Toronto in 2026. They're gonna be joining the Raptors.
Yeah.
What do you think about this, my guy, for the WNBA? WNBA is getting a lot of notoriety right now because of this rookie class, this great
Yeah.
rookie class that came out. I don't know why the young rookie class ladies they got me tuning in. I love
Yeah.
it. Like
Man,
ladies I never seen before. I was looking at Cameron Brink. I was looking at Nika Mew from UConn. I was who else? Camila Cardozo. She's injured right
we'll
now,
be
but I'm
back
waiting to
next
see
week.
her
Yeah.
play. I'm waiting to see her next to Angel Reese because Angel Reese is doing her thing. Shout out to the Bayou Barbie. We not calling you no Chicago
Downtown,
Barbie. We're
bro.
gonna call you, yeah. We calling you the Bayou Barbie down here. So, but it's exciting for the WNBA right now, man. They got a new team coming. What you think about
Mhm. I like it, man. They kind of spoke to it. They had the strategy for a while. They
it?
want to be at 16 teams, and so with the addition of the Toronto franchise, they're going to be at 14. I think they're trying to get to 16 by 2028.
I
So
like that.
definitely need to put New Orleans on that list, on
Oh,
that short list, what they think about because we need that. We need that for the city. But I really
definitely.
like it, man. It shows that one, they're thinking forward, and it's not one of those things that's like, well, we gotta have the money and all that before we do it. It's like we know what's going on. While everybody's trying to deny what this rookie class is bringing in, and they're trying to say, well, we was doing it, we was putting the work in before and all that stuff. Like, look, man, who cares about the credit if it's paying all the bills? Like, but the
Exactly.
numbers showing that these young ladies that's coming in is doing the damn thing. And guess what? The ladies next year, over the next 2 years, probably gonna break the mold too, because you got Paige Beckers leading the crew next year, and you're gonna have Juju
Juju.
leading the crew after that.
Ooh,
So, and
bars.
she might be that first pick in Toronto, either her or Flau'jae. So it's a lot that we can
Ooh,
see happening, bro. So I'm really excited, man. Good to see the
well,
game grow. Obviously, having another 2 more teams, that's going to add more roster spots as well. So
yep.
some of those folks where, like, we're talking about a league where I think only 33% of the draft picks this year
State.
made a spot. So now having 2 additional teams and hopefully adding 2 more after that, that's going to have more roster spots. And so, as these young women start to change the game, maybe we're going to even have more than 12 roster spots. Maybe open up 3 more because you got
Mhm.
enough money flowing in to where you can hold 3 more roster spots. Then there's less time people got to play overseas, all the stuff. So I mean, there's some good things going on in the WNBA. I think if you're a fan of basketball and hoops in general, it's a good
Mhm.
time to get in and really start to watch. You can watch some of the vets that's been holding it down for a long time because they killing shit right now.
Mhm.
We talking about a player that's on an 0-5 team and a player on a 2-1 team right now. But there's a lot there's a lot of dogs in the league
Right. That says
that's
a
doing
lot
their
too.
thing, led by Aja Wilson and Brianna Stewart. So
Mhm.
now is a better time than any to be a fan of it. But it's
Mhm.
even better that if you can grow as far as having an expansion franchise, I think now would be a better time than any to really get in on that. So,
Mhm.
Gail, pay them bills so we can
Uh,
get us a WNBA team.
she got bills she got to pay right now, so we can't even. We all know what we talk about, but that's what I like about it: creating more roster spots because I, it confused me when I always see the
Mm-hmm.
number 4 pick in the WNBA draft is not on a team 1 year in 1 year after they've been drafted. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy to me. So we need more teams, get them all the way up to 20. More competition, more roster spots for people to stay, like you said. And I want to see the WNBA keep putting out content of the teams. Put it
Mm-hmm.
in our face, show us, post it. Uh, the video where the Aces got $100,000 from the city, Las Vegas, and you saw the women reactions and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Keep giving us that content. Give us the trash talk. Give us the highlights. Show it to us. Put it in
Yeah.
our face because when the NBA goes off in a couple weeks or a few weeks,
Mm-hmm.
WNBA's got to be there. They're gonna be competing with USFL, I believe. They in the summer now as a spring
Yeah.
football.
Yeah. Spring.
So
Yeah.
so
And
we need to see more of the WNBA on platforms on
true.
ESPN. We need to see that. I just seen golf the whole week, and when and I'm only catching 1 or 2 WNBA games on the big program, so we can't
Mhm.
complain about it. And y'all not putting them on the big name shows.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about this, these new eyes on the game, because now you're having more people kind of criticize that and say, hey,
Hmm.
we need to see more teams. We need to, because last year there was really only showing the Aces and the Liberty. And
Right.
so it's like, hey, there's more teams in the dub, especially now that we expanded. And man, I'm hoping, we talk about all these different teams in the roster spots. I think as the game grows, one thing that, probably isn't being talked about enough, and I don't even know if the WNBA is even thinking about this, but maybe having like a development league. So to your
Hmm.
point where, hey, if the fourth overall pick not ready to play with the big girls yet,
Hmm.
put her ass in a development league for a year or
We
two.
back to the D League.
Yeah, so like, and so that way you get this again. I'm all about them being able to stay on American soil, make a living, so they don't have to go overseas, putting all that wear and tear, staying away from their families. We know mental health is important, and so if you got to spend half the year away from your family and loved ones just to make a living, like that ain't living at all. So anything we can do to grow the game, but also keep it here and allow them to make a living for themselves and be around the people they care about and that they doing this for in the first place, right? I think the better it'll be.
All right, y'all. We WNBA keep doing what y'all doing. Keep following through, supporting the women who come out. And I want to say this to the players who coming out, the rookies. More criticism is good, even though y'all getting a lot of hate. That means more eyes are watching you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if y'all get to the level of the NBA type hate where it's not patrols in the comments, y'all have succeeded because that is great. When you post something and people like, oh, trash, troll, you're not better than this player, not better than this, that's good. So even though a lot of hate is coming towards these new players and hate is coming from other players on players. So that's crazy, but that's good though. Keep the eyes rolling on you. But that's Bayou Ballers for the day, y'all. Heavy NBA. I just noticed we didn't have one NFL topic, but we got something coming to y'all for the Saints. Our hometimers. But any last words from Trey, bro?
Man, look, it's just want you guys to keep on supporting the show, man, as we continue to grow this thing. This is fun. We enjoy bringing all these different topics to y'all. And so, hey, always feel free to reach out. We got our ads on Twitter on here. Feel free to reach out to us. Let us know some of the topics that you want us to cover. Because with more eyes on all these sports, it's a ton of things we can cover. And so if you want to say, hey, man, cover this or that, feel free. We're open. We ain't going to hurt you.
Yeah, well, yeah, and we always open for a debate. If you feel you want to bring something, hop in the chat when we start going live soon, But like we said, y'all have a good day, a good weekend. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace out.